welcome India. Good morning to Super Saturday. The Indian political league is about to start and it is going to be a dramatic day, I promise you. 5 states of this country, including the most populous state of Uttar Pradesh, counting about to start in a minute or two. The other states of Punjab, Uttarakhand, Goa and Manipur also deciding. It's verdict 2017. Make this your destination, because there is lots of news to tell you. This throne that I have in front of me, who will occupy the big throne of Lucknow? Will it be Prime Minister Modi, hoping to take his juggernaut of 2014 into 2017? Will he be comfortable here? Or will Rahul Gandhi prove the skeptics wrong this time? Will Rahul Gandhi walk his way in partnership with Akhilesh into power in UP and indeed across the other states where the Congress has much at stake? Akhilesh Yadav is the man to watch. He's the one who's taken on Mr. Modi on his home turf of Uttar Pradesh. They're looking resplendent in his red Samajwadi Party cap. That's of course Uttar Pradesh, because there is an X factor there. Behenji, Mayawati, never rule her out, and she wants this chair desperately this time. She's been 5 years out of power, 5 years too long for her. Will it be Behenji's time, or will she be the loser as opinion polls predict? It's not just UP. We'll also go to Punjab, because Captain Amrinder Singh is celebrating his 75th birthday today. He wants a cake and maybe wants whiskey on the rocks tonight and become the Chief Minister of Punjab after a 10-year gap. But taking him on is Arvind Kejriwal, the X factor of Punjab, the new party that wants to grow beyond Delhi. He wants more. Also wanting more will be the Badals, because they've been in power for 10 years and the Badals are the power family of Punjab politics. Can Mr. Badal take this chair? And if it's not the Badals, we will go to Uttarakhand, because Harish Rawat there is hoping to beat history and become the first Chief Minister to be re-elected. Congress has much at stake in Uttarakhand. Sadly, I can't have figures for Goa and Manipur, but I promise you we'll be looking at those 2 states carefully as well. But for now, as we look at the big picture, let me tell you the story that's about to unravel. In a moment from now, counting has begun. That's right. The big story at the moment is that counting has begun in electronic voting machines. The counting centers are ready. There's rain and snowfall in Manipur. There's rain, snowfall in Uttarakhand. That's not stopping the EVMs. Counting of ballots has begun in 5 states across the country. And we'll be bringing you every number. I promise the fastest results, but more importantly, the clearest analysis. We want to bring you the big picture and the micro picture in these states. I'm joined by a wonderful panel of people who love their elections, this celebration of Indian democracy. We get energized every time we do elections, because there is nothing like an Indian election. We are a unique country in that respect, where today everyone has the power to vote. Dr. Sandeep Shastri, Pro Vice Chancellor, Jain University, and the man who really invented a lot of the election analysis along with the Lok Niti team, reinvented it, is joining me. The man who invented Cephology, Ashok Lahiri, is joining me. He's going to do a lot of the number crunching. Manisha Priyam is with us, looking bright and energetic this morning. Dr. Dipankar Gupta, the country's preeminent political sociologist. Javed Ansari, our executive editor, the son of the soil of Uttar Pradesh. And Ajit Jha, our editor research at India Today. They will be bringing you all the numbers. Our reporters have gone right across the length and breadth of this country. And the focus will be on Uttar Pradesh, because this is the biggest prize. 403 seats on offer. Gaurav Sawant is outside the BJP headquarters, where there could be celebrations or gloom. Gaurav, what's the mood there at the moment? It's 8 o'clock. Surely Lucknow has now woken up, particularly the BJP headquarters behind you.
The city of Nawabs, it's usually slow to wake up, but this morning there is eager anticipation, Rajdeep, at the BJP headquarters. The preparations are all in place. The lights have been put. The BJP saying it's Holi and Diwali simultaneously and ahead of Holi this year. But after Bihar, they're not taking their chances. So while you have saffron gulal already here at the BJP headquarters, roses have been brought, lots of water, lots of color, crackers, all in place. But no celebrations till the time the party gets the green signal from their leaders once results start pouring in. So no premature celebrations is what people are saying. But temple runs have started, temple visits have started. Rita Bahuguna Joshi early in the morning visited the temple here, the Hanuman temple at Hazratganj. After that, they're also visiting other temples here and saying that 14 years of Vanvas is about to end. Perhaps after 14 years, they'll just cross the road to the Vidhan Sabha, which they have failed in 3 elections in the past, Rajdeep.
14 years of Vanvas. We'll see. Remember, the last time the BJP actually was in power in UP in some form was 2002. Rajnath Singh was then the chief minister. And the only time they've got a majority on their own is way back 1991 when Kalyan Singh was chief minister. So this could be a big day for the BJP. It could be a big day for Arvind Kejriwal. The Aam Aadmi Party leader is at his house in Delhi. He may even go to Punjab by noon today if the results are to his advantage. Our reporter Ashish is there and he says the home of Kejriwal has also been bedecked. Let's find out what Ashish is seeing at Kejriwal's house.
नतीजे आने में बस अब कुछ वक्त ही बाकी है और इस बीच दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री के घर के बाहर स्टेज सज चुका है। जश्न की तैयारियां हो चुकी हैं। तमाम कार्यकर्ता और जो नेता हैं वो यहां पर आएंगे काउंटिंग देखने के लिए, रिजल्ट्स देखने के लिए। और इस बीच एक उम्मीद है और साथ ही अरविंद केजरीवाल के मंसूबों के लिए एक बड़ा दिन है। अगर आज चुनाव जीतते हैं तो दिल्ली से नई दिल्ली का सफर चंडीगढ़ से होकर तय होगा और अगर हारते हैं तो ये किसी और राज्य में दिल्ली के बाहर उनका फैलाव होगा। पार्टी के लिए एक बड़ा दिन, अरविंद केजरीवाल के लिए एक बड़ा दिन। दिल्ली से मैं आशुतोष, आज तक।
Okay, celebratory mood already even at Kejriwal's house. What is this, Mr. Somnath Bharti of the Aam Aadmi Party? I thought that you wanted to wait till at least 10 o'clock before you decide to put all the balloons up. Is the Aam Aadmi Party already planning victory? We'll have to see whether the Aam Aadmi Party, Mr. Bharti has just got up. But let's focus on Uttar Pradesh because that's the big prize at the moment. Ajit Jha, what's at stake in UP, particularly in this election? Is this about Narendra Modi's charisma or is it about the fact that UP could actually be seeing a national party winning there after about 25 years, if our exit poll is right?
I think, Rajdeep, that Uttar Pradesh poll is basically, in a way, a referendum on the Modi regime. Since 2014, the entire politics of the country changed. There was a major realignment which happened with, almost a sort of tsunami victory for the BJP. And if, as our exit poll suggests, if the BJP were to win UP, then that would show a major social realignment taking place in the largest state of the country and in the entire of Hindi heartland. So in that sense, it's a touchstone of, Modi's sort of popularity across the country.
Touchstone of Modi's popularity, but the question will be that you have been saying this is a semi-final. We keep saying an election is a semi-final. Is Uttar Pradesh really the semi-final or should we treat it as a state election determined by state factors? Every election, just 18 months ago or 15 months ago, the BJP suffered defeat in Bihar. Now, is this a compensation if they win today for Bihar? Is that why Uttar Pradesh is so critical for the BJP today?
I think Uttar Pradesh is critical for the BJP for multiple reasons. The most populous state being one. Secondly, this election being held at a critical time when this government is halfway down its term. And therefore, what happens in the remaining 2.5 years, I think to a certain extent is defined and decided by the verdict of these elections. The momentum that the BJP hopes to gain through this electoral verdict is something which it hopes would take it forward in the elections coming up in the next year. It's for that reason I said this is semi-final 1 and next year will be semi-final 2.
Semi-final 2 will be the 4 state elections when they go in November, December of 2018.
Yes.
Just before the 2019 elections, which presumably are the final. On the other hand, what's at stake for Rahul Gandhi and the Congress? Let's be clear. Let's look at the big picture at the start. For Narendra Modi, Uttar Pradesh is the prize. He needs to win Uttar Pradesh. For Rahul Gandhi, Is Punjab just as important? Because Uttar Pradesh, the Congress in any case, was always a B or C team. But if he doesn't win Punjab, then there will be serious questions over whether the Congress can actually win elections anymore.
Well, absolutely. But, you know, let me first deal with the Modi factor. They need to win UP. And if they win UP, it will have an immediate impact. Then it will help them elect the President of India of their choice. They can easily elect the Vice President in
June, July of
in
this year.
August. The President will be elected on 28th of July, and they can have, for the first time, a President of their choice. For Rahul Gandhi, all eyes will be on Punjab. They need to win Punjab. Desperately need to win Punjab. If the Congress does not, for some strange reason, win Punjab, then more questions will be asked of him. They desperately need a victory, especially so in Punjab.
And for Aam Aadmi Party, Dipankar Gupta, for a party that started 2 years ago dramatically in Delhi, exactly 25 months ago, is this election in Punjab just as important? Because they need to show that they can grow beyond Delhi.
Obviously, it's very important for the Aam Aadmi Party, but whether it forms government or not, in either case, it's a victor. In either case, it will be able to tell the world, at least India, that we matter, we count. So they enter the seats, as it were. They are not, outside that. They enter the seats, and then they become viable contestants for the...
They become viable contenders for the future. Adarsh Shastri of the Aam Aadmi Party, typically the Aam Aadmi Party, like the BJP, very well organized, sending its spokespersons on time. We'll wait for the BJP spokesperson in a moment. But Adarsh Shastri, is this make or break for you in Punjab? Is this about Arvind Kejriwal's gamble? He had said 2 years ago he will not go beyond Delhi for 5 years. You've gone into Punjab. You've been audacious about it, but is it a big gamble you have taken?
Well, Rajdeep, I don't think it's a gamble for us. Arvind said that he will remain Chief Minister of Delhi for 5 years, which he will, very much so. At no point of time has the Aam Aadmi said that we will not go outside of Delhi. Wherever there is need and wherever there is a credible alternative which can get formed, the Aam Aadmi Party will go there, whether it is Punjab, Goa, later on Gujarat, and so on and so forth. I think the bipolar nature of politics in many states is going to change after Punjab, with Aam Aadmi Party getting recognized as the third force in a bipolar polity. I think that is one thing which is going to emerge out of today's results. The second thing is the fact that the irrelevance of the Congress after today, possibly on the road to extinction, because if they lose on Punjab, and I have seen across that wherever the Congress party has lost elections and has come third, in those states it has not been able to regain power since independence.
That's an interesting point you're making. Interesting point you're making, Mr. Shastri.
Andhra, UP.
No, you're making an interesting point. You believe that you will occupy the space that you believe is being vacated by the Congress. That's an interesting observation from an Aam Aadmi Party leader. That's your target in a sense. Now, someone, of course, who might find that the space is getting vacated is Mayawati. We've got pictures from outside her house. No celebrations planned, we are told at the moment there. In fact, deserted roads outside Mayawati's house at the moment in Lucknow. Those are the images we are getting you from outside Mayawati's house there in Lucknow at the moment. Manisha Priyam, when I look at those images, it appears 10 years is a very long time in politics. 10 years ago, Mayawati had swept Uttar Pradesh and she was seen as the future of the state. Today, if the exit polls are right, she could come a poor third. Is it also possibly make or break for Mayawati?
Indeed it is. And in a sense, 2014 somewhat swept away the broader social coalition with which she was riding the wave in Uttar Pradesh, and has left her only with a minimal deposit in her accounts. It's become like a Jan Dhan account, no frills around it, only the jatas there. And from the ground reports that I have around Purvanchal in Gorakhpur, much of the recovery that she's made, still around that no frills vote bank that she has, not yet back into the larger social coalition that swept her back to power. Remember always, it wasn't just her own caste base, but a caste plus that had brought her to power. and that's the image that she has to break.
You know, that plus vote, she's going to struggle today with the plus vote. Many believe that that could be the big challenge. Can Mayawati get the plus vote? The advantage, though, is very clearly, many believe, at least pollsters believe at the moment, with the BJP. We'll have to wait and see as those EVMs start coming in. The first two results, meanwhile, for UP. And don't write off Mayawati, because result number 1 is coming to Mayawati. The first result, I should make it very clear, these are postal ballots. 2 results, 1 to the BJP, 1 to Mayawati is how it stands at the moment. So the first 2 trends that are coming in are to Mayawati, but postal ballots, and I must keep reiterating that, have practically no impact on the final result. This whole concept of postal ballots, Mr. Lahiri, should we be extremely cautious in this first hour before we predict any trend? Because in the past, many of us have been bitten badly or burnt badly.
Absolutely. So if you look at postal ballot,
yes,
in some constituencies, postal ballots are 200, 300. Out of a total voting of 2 lakh, 5 lakhs, 200, 300 tell you nothing. And these are particular kinds of people, maybe some soldiers, maybe some, just they don't provide the broad spectrum of the electorate.
They don't provide any broad spectrum for you of the electorate.
But Rajdip, I must allow me to comment on what is happening in UP. BSP is a very important player. But BSP's model seems to be not working. First, Punjab has got 32% scheduled caste population, more than UP. UP has got 22%. But Punjab, BSP has been on the decline. UP, because of its backwardness, mind you, UP had 97% of Indian per capita income in 1950-51. Right now it is 40%. So
Right.
UP is really a case of failed development. And now it seems in this election, the agenda is for both Samajwadi Congress Party as well as BJP, the development. Now the issue is, BSP's model is caste. And caste, you see Sonelal Patel, the Kurmis left. Om Prakash Rajwar, Bharatiya Samaj Party, they have left. They've aligned with...
I have Rashid Alvi joining me of the Congress, but it's clear that the BSP could be the party taking the big hit at the end of the day. Then we'll know. Let's not analyze anything, I think, today till we now start getting, we've done enough analysis. It's time for the numbers. Let's go to Rashid Alvi of the Congress joining me. Rashid Alvi, what's at stake for your party today? Will you today concede that if you don't win Punjab and if you get swept out in Uttar Pradesh, this is another bad day in the office? Is the Congress preparing for the worst and hoping for the best and clutching at straws like Manipur and maybe even Goa and Uttarakhand?
I think we should wait for a few minutes or few hours more. I am sure in Punjab, Congress Party is going to form the government. But it is democracy. People of Punjab will decide who will form, who will not form. But Congress Party is very hopeful that in Punjab, Congress Party will form the government. And even in Uttarakhand, we have done so much work that we are sure that even in Uttarakhand, we are coming back. As far as UP is concerned, you know, it is very unfortunate, and allow me to say that it is unfortunate. I belong to a country where our Prime Minister is a person who has come down to this level that he wants to win this election just on the basis of Hindu and Muslim. It is very unfortunate.
So you say that he wants to win this election. You're saying Mr. Modi wants to win the election on the basis of Hindu and Muslim. We'll test that, Mr. Alvi. I would request our politicians, keep it short. Let's not have political speeches today. We are playing a T20 match. So you are saying that the BJP wants to win the election on the Hindu-Muslim card. That will be tested. And I will put that to BJP leaders too in a moment. But Sandeep Shastri, seven leads now.
7 leads are coming in. And they seem to be equally divided among the 3 parties.
And the regions?
BJP 3, SP 2 and BSP 2, and it's coming from all the regions. The BJP's leads are in Western UP.
Right.
The SP's leads are in Central UP, and the BSP's leads are in Eastern UP.
So therefore, at the moment, it virtually reflects what many believe is the map of Uttar Pradesh. Remember, the BJP is expecting to make major gains in Western UP. This is the belt where the BJP did spectacularly in 2014, won all the Lok Sabha seats here, was ahead in the first part as per our exit poll in as many as 50 of the 70 seats that went to the polls. So the BJP will be looking at Western UP particularly keenly. That's where they are hoping to make major gains in this election. But clearly the early signs at the moment are of a tighter race. Samajwadi Party leading in 3 now, BJP in 3 and the BSP in 2. So 8 leads that we have. It's a tight race as far as postal ballots go. UP counting much faster, we can tell you also in that sense, than the other states where we are still waiting for early leads. And we expect Uttar Pradesh, in a sense, is Uttar Pradesh in a sense, Ajit Jha, like a state which has to be discussed as different sub-regions. Western UP, Purvanchal, Awadh and Bundelkhand all have to be discussed and looked at differently, or are we possibly going to see if the BJP wins more than 200 a cross-caste, cross-region appeal?
No, I mean, Uttar Pradesh is too large a state to be actually viable. I mean, if you look at it, Eastern UP has per capita income half that of Western UP. And that has been since the last 70 years since independence. In fact, even in the 1950s, I'm told that the big fight between Charan Singh, who came from Western UP, and the socialist parties used to be on the issue of East versus Western UP, and it continues till today. So I think it's very, very important that if the BJP comes to power in 2017, they have to target Eastern UP. Otherwise, we are heading for a division of the state.
You know, it's very interesting because today we are going to see, and Javed, you come from Eastern UP, is the divide between Eastern and Western UP as big a chasm as many believe, or do you believe that over time it's only the politicians who play the game of let's have a separate Harit Pradesh in Western UP, Purvanchalis believe that their part of the state has been neglected. Do you believe that those divides reflect in its politics as well?
Look, whoever has to win UP must do well across UP. As far as the divide is concerned, there's a huge difference, there's a huge chasm between Eastern UP and the rest. Eastern UP, politicians who've ruled Lucknow and who've ruled Delhi appear to have forgotten about Eastern UP. The economic disparities are huge. The difference is just between chalk and cheese. So there can be no comparison as far as the economic parameters are concerned. But yes, if you want to win UP, you have to do well in all 3 or 4 regions of
I just want to make the point, the BJP now taking an early lead. 7 out of the 13 seats, the BJP leading at the moment. And as Sandeep is pointing out, these are now coming from across the state. From different parts of the state. The BJP is making some early gains at the moment. No indication of the final picture. Remember, these are very, very early leads. Let's not make any predictions on the basis of this. But clearly the BJP, Sandeep, is scoring across the state. If you can give me a regional map.
All 4 regions, the 7 leads are in all the 4 regions. In Western UP, they are leading in 1 seat. In Central UP, they are leading in 2 seats. And in Eastern UP, they are leading in 3 seats. And in Bundelkhand, they are leading in 1 seat. So across the region, the leads are...
So the leads are coming from across the regions of Uttar Pradesh. And that really is a clear sign at the moment. Remember, the fact is that there is a sense that we are getting that Uttar Pradesh is where this election will be determined. At the moment, 2 leads from Punjab. Interestingly, 2 leads, 1 to the Congress, 1 to the SAD, not to the AAP. But I keep maintaining that Punjab could go down to the wire, and Punjab too has 3 regions really. This election of Punjab, even more than Uttar Pradesh, will be looked at as an election of Malwa, Doaba and Majha. Would I be right, Manisha, that Punjab is an election where there is an election within an election? 69 seats of Malwa out of 117. Whoever takes Malwa will probably take Punjab.
Yeah, that's quite clear that, it's been, and the strategies of the new political parties, the new striker there, therefore the Aam Aadmi Party has struck it deep in the Malwa region first. So in a sense, whoever is going to be taking Malwa is going to have an edge on the other two regions as well.
You know, it's very interesting because Western UP at the moment, what I'm looking at, it's the BJP which is leading in the one seat there. In Central UP, again, it is the BJP leading in the two seats there. That's significant because remember, whoever has won Central UP has tended to win. SP leading 4 there, BJP in 2. Eastern UP is where the BJP at the moment is scoring. They're leading in 3. Samajwadi Party in 1, BSP in 1. When you look at Bundelkhand at the moment, we have 2 leads at the moment, 1 to the BJP, 1 to the BSP. So clearly at the moment, a very mixed picture is emerging, but Central UP is a region to be watched because if Akhilesh starts trailing in Central UP, then that is bad news. But for now, all 3 parties believe that they are in with a chance. BJP leading in 8, SP Congress in 6, BSP in 2, others in 1. 17 leads available at the moment and the race is very, very tight. Punjab, you've got 4 leads at the moment. Shiromani Akali Dal leading in 2, 1 to the Aam Aadmi Party, 1 to the SAD. And in Punjab also, if you see, we believe that the 3 regions will vote differently. When you look at Majha, that lead is coming from the Congress. The Congress expects to do well in Majha. In Doaba, at the moment, we don't have any leads. The other 3 are coming in Malwa. And in Malwa, it's the Aam Aadmi Party which is leading in 2, the Congress in 1, the Shiromani Akali Dal in 1. The 69 seats of Malwa could become critical. I'm going to go to our correspondents who have spread out into these areas to get a sense of what is happening at the moment. Rima Parashar, our correspondent, is at the BJP headquarters. Rima is giving me a sense. She's been talking to our sister channel, Aaj Tak, why this election is important for the BJP. Why are the leaders of the BJP glued to their TV screens at the moment? Listen in to what Rima had to say.